Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We have come to a point. संकल्प जाले गलिते स्वरूपम अवतिशिष्यते महाप्रलय संपत्तौ असत्ताम समुपागते अशेष दृश्य सर्गादो शांतमेवावशिष्यते आस्ते नस्त स्तिमितो भास्वान परमात्मा महेश्वरः. We are seeking something in this world, all of us, and we always seek things away from us. On the contrary, if you start discovering, not seeking, the difference between seeking and discovering is when we discover, we accept something is existing. When we are seeking, we hope we will get something. So, when we seek happiness, we run after the things and the beings. So we run after the things so that I can become happy. There is no guarantee. But when we are discovering happiness, we know for certain. See? Because when something is discovered, first it is accepted as existing. It is not suspected as existing, but accepted as existing. And thereafter, that curtain because of which it is covered, only that remains our job, discover. And when we discover something, it is never lost. When we seek something, there is a possibility of improvement or adding something more. See? Therefore, when we fulfill our desires, what we are doing is we are seeking happiness through the fulfillment of desires. And that is what we have been doing throughout our life, right from childhood till the end of the life, only seeking happiness by fulfilling the desires. And what are desires? Desires are unhealthy condition of the mind. Whenever there is something unhealthy, we want to remove it. Suppose there is suddenly a big abscess on the hand. We will not say, oh, this part of the hand is becoming healthy. Look here. It is abnormal. So, whatever is abnormal, we remove it. If desires were normal in our mind, we will never want to remove them. What we do, we fulfill the desire, thereby we remove the desires. And then we superimpose, wrongly place identity. I wanted a cup of tea. I was very uneasy. So the mind was constantly chanting tea, 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 tea. And then I get a cup of tea. Aha, enjoyed. Conclusion. When I did not have tea, I was disturbed. When I got tea, I am happy. Therefore, happiness has come from tea. See the conclusion? But when I did not have tea, the mind was disturbed. When I got the cup of tea, the mind is quiet. Therefore, quietness of the mind is happiness and not the tea where I have superimposed happiness on tea. Once this is understood, then our struggle will not be fulfilling the desires and quietening the mind for a short period, but working on the quietening of the mind. This is what it is said by Vasishtha ji. Sankalpa jale galite. When there are no more sankalpa, how the desires are born, an object is perceived, Then projection starts in the following way. This object is the source of happiness. I don't have that object. Therefore, I am not happy. Therefore, by one or the other method, I should procure that object. This chain of interactions in the mind is called the birth of the desire. And once we have said that this object or this person is the source of happiness, then unless we get that, we will not be quiet. So what we have done? We have misplaced the source of happiness on the worldly objects or the beings. In fact, we are the source of happiness. Therefore, sankalpa jale galite, when all the sankalpas, desires, every modification of the mind is dissolved. This is one rule. In the relative world, there is not a single problem which has got a solution. In the absolute, there is not a single problem which demands any solution. So what is our struggle? We are struggling to discover happiness in the relative world. This is called as ashakya anushthan, an impossible undertaking. See, friends. Therefore, sankalpa jale galite means let our attention be on this mind. How many thoughts are erupting per second? Are we able to reduce the thought eruptions, frequency of thoughts? Then the quality of the thoughts. Are the thoughts pertaining to the world, to the friends, to the enemies? Are these thoughts entangling us? Quality of thoughts. Then the direction of the thoughts. Where the thoughts are taking us? When we thus become aware of the thought process, then alone we will be able to get freedom from this habit of projection. And once this knack, this secret is known, then you don't have to solve any problem. Problem gets dissolved by itself. One great master said, those who are successful in life, by tremendous patience they can achieve anything in life. So one argumentative youngster asked, is it possible to get success by a sieve you want to collect water? By your patience can you do that? So the teacher says, yes, have patience till the water becomes ice. And they lift it. Have patience. It will. Patience helps us in getting out of this habitual projection by the mind. And when thus the mind is quieted, everything disappears. And what remains? Swarupam avashishyate. I, as a man, became three: son, husband and father, because of three conditionings. Conditioning of my father, I am a son. Wife, I am a husband. Son, I am a father. I have become three. When all the three have gone, I am there. But if I am not there, all the three cannot exist. When these conditionings, sankalpa, imagination, projections are quietened, what remains is Maheshwaraha, the supreme reality. And what is this reality? Yato vacho nivartanti yo mukti avagamyate yasya chatmadika sanya kalpitana svabhavaja. Yato vacho nivartante yaha mukte hi avagamyate. This reality is recognized only by those who are liberated from I. This point I am emphasizing again and again. There is no freedom for I. We have to discover freedom from I. As a mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife, I cannot be absolutely happy. What is the reason? Because they are relative. From the relative, how can you get absolute happiness? You get relative happiness, not absolute. Absolute happiness possible only when you are one with the absolute. Therefore, here the teacher says, this can be experienced only by those who are liberated from this I. Muktaihi avagamyate. Yasya, which is called as Atmadika Sanya Kalpita. This reality is referred only for reference as Atma, Paramatma, Maheshwar, God, Hiranyagarbha, Sutratma, Brahman, Bhagavan. These are only words, 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 words. Just to indicate something. See? These words are only the pointers. You have to walk in that direction. On a post there was a pointer, Birmingham. So an ignorant person like me went and stood near the post. Hey, what are you doing? No, I wanted to reach Birmingham. I reached here. See, it's a board. It's not a board. It is a direction you have to walk. Oh God, I thought this is Birmingham. See? These are only the pointers. And when you just start walking on these directions, then Atma, Paramatma, these are Sanya, these names are Kalpitaha, they are imagined, Nasvabhavaja. See, friends. Therefore it is said, what is world? World is defined as Asti Bhati Priya Nam Rupa iti Pancha Amshakam Adyatrayam Brahma Rupam Jagad Rupam Tato Dvayam. Existence, knowledge and bliss plus name and form. Out of these five, name and form is the world and Satchidananda is the Brahman. Drop the name, drop the form, you are Paramatma. The world begins with the sound. Sounds create names. Names are for the forms. Therefore, all these names, Atma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, God, all these are only words, it has no meaning. The truth is experienced only by the wise. Avirbhavati robhava maya tribhavanor spuranti atite yasmin maradiva marichayaha. Avirbhavati robhava maya tribhavana urmayaha asmin atite spuranti. The manifestation and unmanifestation, manifestation and unmanifestation. The urmaya means waves. These waves of creation and destruction are constantly appearing on this absolute reality. See, it is not a creation, manifestation, unmanifestation. Waves are manifested on the ocean, they become unmanifest. They become manifest, they become unmanifest. Is it not our life? We wake up, we go to sleep. Again wake up, again go to sleep. Again wake up, again go to sleep. Be attentive. Who wakes up and who goes to sleep? It is the mind. We neither sleep nor we wake up. Because we are present in the waking experience. Waking experience goes. We don't go anywhere. We are present in the dream experience. Dream experience goes. We don't go anywhere. We are there in the deep sleep experience. Deep sleep disappears. We don't disappear. We are there in the samadhi. Samadhi ends. We don't end. So on this one reality, which is present in waking, dream, deep sleep and samadhi, on this reality, the waves of waking, dream, deep sleep, samadhi, these waves are constantly coming, dancing and going away. Be attentive. As the same wave again never comes up. Every dream is a different dream. In the same manner, every waking experience is a different experience. It is not the same. Like for every dream, there is a separate dreamer, so also for every waking experience, there is a separate waker. As we do not write the autobiography of the dreamer, there is no fun in writing the autobiography of a Dumbo. Whose autobiography? See, friends, in this manner, when we come to the substratum, then this relative world means nothing. In fact, waking is the experience of the intellect. Dream is the experience of the mind. Deep sleep is the experience of the ahankar. And samadhi is the experience of the chitta, mana buddhi, chitta, ahankar. Waking experience is logic oriented. Dream is chaotic. In deep sleep, the five elements remain integrated. They don't become disintegrated into nothing. The body is still held into the body form. That is the experience of the ahankar, tattva. And samadhi is chitta. All the thoughts, all the impressions are preserved. So when a person before going to samadhi, suppose he says, hey, get me a cup of tea, and he gets into samadhi. And then he wakes up after 2 years. First thing he will ask, where is my cup of tea? It is chitta pradhan. In this manner, these experiences, waking, dream, deep sleep, samadhi, they are not our experiences. They belong to this Antakaran Chatushtaya, Brahmaji with 4 heads. Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishtaha mattaha smriti jnanam apohanancha vedaisya sarvai ahameva vidyaha vedanta krut veda videva chaham. I am the essence of everything and being. I alone am supporting jnanam, waking experience, smriti, dream experience, apohanam, deep sleep experience, chakara, samadhi, samadhi experience. This I, who is supporting all experiences, is worthy of knowing. Sarvaihi vedaihi ahameva vidya. What is worthy of knowing is not the life story of the waker or a dreamer, but this I, who supports everything and gets influenced by nothing. This is what is said here. Avirbhavati ro bhava maya tribhavana urmayaha spuranti atite yasmin marau iva marichayaha. Just like the mirage waters appears on the sandy surfaces or in the sun rays, in the same manner. These are merely appearances. It has no value. See, friends. When we dream, during the dream experience, the dream is a solid reality. If you had a very bad dream, you perspire. There is a heartbeat change. Breathing changes. And you come out of the dream. Oh, thank God, it was a dream. If it was a dream, why are you perspiring? See? Because during the dream is experienced as a solid reality. In the same manner, this waking dream is experienced as a solid reality, But when we awaken to our essential nature, then as we become wise after waking up from the dream, come on, yaar, it was just a dream, forget about it. In the same manner, the wise people who are awakened to their essential nature, they don't talk about, I was doing this, I was doing that, I was like that. It's a dream thing. Are we proud of our dream? Do you know, in one dream, I became a king, But that dream lasted for a very small period. But thereafter, every time I am getting the dream of my wife and my whole dream is spoiled. I don't know what to do. No. We don't brag about our dreams. In the same manner, wise people who are awakened to their essential nature, they don't talk about achievements and failures. See, friends, that is why I told you, listening to Vedanta is like going to a gym. You have to be healthy. Not frustrated, I am not able to get married, Swamiji, please tell me what should I do. So I'll tell you, don't get married. There is no need to get married. Because of marriage, nobody has become happy till date. If you don't trust me, ask your own parents. You will come to know that. Be happy. I want to get married. See? Once we discover this joy, you will see this whole thing is a big bluff. Nothing has ever happened, nothing is going to happen. But we feel, oh God, what is going to happen? One person asked me one question. I was giving a talk in a school, and after that talk was over, I told, questions are invited only from the students. Nobody else should ask any question. I will not reply. And yet one oldie teacher got up. Sir, I got a question. I said, keep with you. I don't need. I told very clearly, I am addressing the students. I will reply only the students. He got very angry. Old people get angry very easily because strong ego is old age. So he became angry, went out. I said, who cares? Then after, when everything was over, I was with the principal having a cup of tea. I said, please call that teacher. He became very angry with me. He came. I said, sir, I am sorry I did not reply your question because it was a wrong question in a wrong place. Therefore, I didn't entertain. Now you ask. So instead of asking a question, he became very angry. How do you know what kind of question I was going to ask? Without even listening, you insulted me. I said, I extend profuse apologies, but your question was wrong. Therefore, I didn't reply. How do you know what was my question? I said, sir, your question was, what happens after death? How do you know? That was my question. I said, from your face. You are not living. Those who are asking about death, they are tired of life. See, when live, we are here for living. Don't seek death, she will follow you. See, be a Twitter for the death. Don't follow her, she will follow you. See? Then I told him, now I will answer your question. So I asked him, what are you? Hindu, Muslim? Of course I am a Hindu. I said, very good. I said, then we'll burn you. No, not that way. I said, okay, second, other way around. When you die, what will happen? There will be one day holiday for the school, but don't die on Sunday. One holiday gone. No. I said, okay. Then what is the question? Now, what happens to the soul after death? I asked him, is anything happening when you are alive? When nothing has happened when you are alive, why worry what will happen after death? See, friends, but we get lost in these non-essentials. See, friends, therefore here the teacher says very clearly, all these things, avirbhavati rubhava, So many times things are born and dying, born and dying. It has no existence whatsoever. And in this manner, like the mirage waters appear in the sun rays, in the same manner, this world of relativity appears in the mind on the substratum of consciousness. Thereafter, this verse is so important. It appears in Bhagavad, Yoga Vasishta, it appears in Upanishad, in so many places. Vidyate hridaya granthi, छिद्यन्ते सर्वसंशयाः, क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि, तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे. Four things. Tasmin paravare drishte sati. When the absolute and the relative is clearly experienced. See? Absolute is man, relative is son, father, husband. Once this is understood, then you go next step. Who is miserable? So we come to know the son, father or the husband is miserable. Third step, are they real or they are like the mirage waters? They appear and disappear. See? Talk to elders politely. Talk to teachers submission. Talk to the customer in a courteous way. Talk to the wife, never. Listen only. You will be happy. These are the secrets of life. Instead of that, we get lost in this world. Paravare drishte. In the relative world, lead a relative life. See? When the wife is wrong, you say sorry. When you are wrong, you definitely must say sorry. You will never be miserable in life. Therefore, paravare drishte sati means when we come to recognize the absolute and the relative. And what is the recognition? In the absolute, the relative is merely an illusion. Space is absolute. North, east, west, south. These are relative. And how the directions are born? Because of the relationship between the sun and the earth. You go out of the conditioning of the earth, which is the east, which is the north, which is the south. And for that we don't have to go anywhere. Simply go to sleep. When we go to sleep, not identified with the body, not identified with the earth, no direction. Then your feng shui will disappear. Vastu will forget. See, friends, paravare drishte sati. Therefore, when we are leading our life in this world, our attention should be on the absolute. And in the relative, play the role that we have to play. All of us have to play different roles in life. Mother, father, brother, sister, husband, wife. Play the role. And those who play the role, they are called as actors. Actors never react. And when you simply act, you get name, fame, money, prosperity, everything. But when you react, you get danda. Think. But how to act? What are you doing now? As if listening. If you really listen, there will be a change. But we don't change because asangoham, asangoham. We are established in this changeless reality. Therefore, we don't change. And then our questions come. I have been going to the temple, I do so much of meditation, but my husband doesn't listen to me. So if you are doing this thing, who should change? You are the husband. I had done so much of puja, but why all the problems are coming to me? Only because you are torturing that God. Therefore, he is sending the problems. He is troubling me. Don't torture that poor God. Let him remain wherever he is. Once paravare dushte sati, once we come to this principle, live as absolute, act as a relative. Live as a man, act as a husband. Live as a man, act as an officer. So when you are in the officer, roar like a lion. But when you are at home before the wife, meow, meow. In both the places you will be successful. But if you do the other way around, before the wife, and in the office, meow, meow, you will be crushed. Tasmin dushte paravare. This is the only spiritual practice. I am not giving a mala in your hand and telling you do meditation or do japa or go to the holy places. No. Only correct your thinking, problems are dissolved. Avichara kruto bandhaha vicharena nivartate. All the problems are born because of the wrong thinking. They can be sorted out only by right thinking. There is no other way. See, friends. So, tasmin dushte paravare. What happens? Three things happen. Number one, vidyate vridaya granthi. Vridaya granthi, knot. It is a knot which is not. Therefore, it is very naughty. This knot is like a knot of a necktie. When in the loop your neck is there, it ties you. If you remove the neck and pull that knot, it undone. It is undone. It doesn't remain. So this Hridaya Granthi, knot of the heart, has three aspects. One is notion that we are incomplete, a sense of incompleteness. Otherwise, why a healthy, young, intelligent and free boy think about what a life without a wife? Why will he think? See? A sense of incompleteness. Without wife, what is the life? I must get married. And then start with a fishing hook, move around. In New York it happened. There was one old lady sitting with a, old man, sitting with a glass, in that there was little water and a fishing rod, and put the hook in the water and sitting like this. So one old lady, good for nothing, walking. Poor fellow doesn't understand what is he doing. How will he get the fish? So she took out $1 note and gave it to him. And asked, since morning, how many fish you caught? He said, you are the 10th. So, we have this sense of incompleteness, and therefore we feel I should get something. The sense of incompleteness leads to the formation of desire in our mind. And when the desire overpowers, then we get into activity. A chain. Sense of incompleteness, desire and action. Avidya, kama, karma. These three things together is called as the knot of the heart. See? Be attentive. In the deep sleep, we don't have a sense of incompleteness. We don't have a sense of otherness. Therefore, there is no desire. Therefore, there is no karma. Therefore, there is no sin, there is no merit. When you snore loudly in deep sleep, is it a sin? No. When you don't snore, is it a merit? No. Because there you are not there. Sleep is happening, but sleeper is not born. Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. This secret of the knot of the heart is undone. This is what we have been telling. discover, open up this knot. Be attentive. This sense of incompleteness comes only after body identification. And incompleteness is on account of three factors: time, space, and object. First, incompleteness on account of time. I am 16 years old for last 40 years. Limitation of time. Ladies never grow beyond 40, you know. Then, second is limitation of space. I have this dimension. 6 feet wide, 4 feet tall. I am here, I am not there. Third, I weigh only 1 ton, not more. So, the limitation of time, space, and object, these three limitations bring the sense of incompleteness. So, the sense of incompleteness is equal to body identification. Then what will happen? There will be a sense of otherness. So this body I am, this body I am not. I am body is not the problem. Problem is this body I am, that body I am not. That is the problem. See? Then what will I do for getting a sense of completeness? I see the things and beings around me. Then the mind starts projecting. If I get that, I'll be complete. If I get married, life will be complete. You get married. If we get children, we'll be complete. You get children. If the children get married, I'll be complete. Children get married. Then if the children have their children, then I'll be complete. They get their children. And then now their children also have their children. No end to it. See, friends, desires can never be fulfilled. Fulfill one desire, second will stand up. For me, there is no end to it. And for fulfilling the desires, we get into activities. So, what is Hrudaya Granthi? This is how we have to understand. A sense of incompleteness born out of body identification. So, to get rid of the sense of incompleteness, what should be the spiritual practice? Freedom from body identification. That is what we are doing in the meditation in the morning class. Vidyate Hrudaya Granthi. And once this is conceived as the ultimate by us, then your spiritual practice will start happening. It is something like this. Suppose you have a vague notion that in this particular thing there is a possibility of some poison. You don't know, you have no confirmation. Vague notion. Will you even then take it? Think. In the same manner, even if we vaguely understand that all the problems begin from body identification, then all our spiritual practice will be attainment of freedom from body identification. And like I told in the morning, from the symptoms we go to the disease. So if body identification is the disease, what are the symptoms? Nobody says I am body, but symptoms tell that he is living as a body. And the symptoms are possessiveness and relations. So if we want to attain freedom from body identification, what will the spiritual practice? Drop possessiveness and drop relations. Do you mean we should take divorce? No, you don't have to. If you take divorce, you will get married again. Then don't take your relations too seriously. Lead your life cheerfully and happily, but know for certain, this is just a relationship. It is not absolute. In this manner, vidyate hridaya granthi. Now the second aspect is, when the body identification is dropped, then what will happen? Desire for the gross worldly things will naturally come down to minimum. Bhagavad Gita says, Shariram kevalam karma kurvannapnoti kilbisham. If we are hungry and we want to take food, it doesn't create sin. But if we are hungry and we want a particular type of food, and if we don't get that particular type of food, we become miserable, that creates sin. If you are feeling cold, to cover yourself so that protected from the cold, there is no sin in that. Desiring for warm clothing during the winter is not a sin. When you are hungry, desiring food is not a sin. See, friend, Shariram karma kevalam na apnoti kilbisham. But it doesn't create sin or merit. In this manner, when we slowly start leading our life in this light of wisdom, then you will see world will never be any issue for us in our life. Thereafter it doesn't matter whether you are a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha or sannyasi. Bhagavan Shankaracharya talks about sannyas. Dehannyaso hi sannyasaha naiva kashaya vasasa naham deho mahatmeti nischayam jnana lakshanam. Freedom from the body identification is the real meaning of sannyas, not by the colored clothes. Naiva kashaya vasasa. We are tailor-made swamis. In one tailor shop it was written, God created man, we create gentleman. So, when we thus work on body disidentification, we are taken first step. Vidyate hridaya granthi. Then tasmin drushti paravare will happen. Then chidyante sarva samshayaha. Second thing. Then you will be left with no doubt, no question. If this is what happens, be attentive. It is for this reason I don't entertain question and answer sessions. Take one simple rule. Any question, any thought will take you away from yourself. Do you have a question or a thought about your being? No. That's it. We were in that Kumbh Mela in Ujjain, and one of the person asked me this question. Swamiji, this Aghori Sampradaya, where they have, this terrible, horrible kind of spiritual practice, what is that? Then I told him, which is the path going to Honolulu? I don't want to know, because I don't have to go there. See? Are you going to follow that path? No. Why do you ask? No, just like that. Spiritual life is not a general knowledge. Don't get lost in all kinds of things. Whether devotion is superior, or whether knowledge is superior, or karma is superior, or yoga is superior. See? One mother, she brought her daughter and asked me, Swamiji, please tell what is good, engineering or medicine? I want to make my daughter that. What do you tell? So I asked, I said, hey, 17 sevens are how much? She said, I said, what are you doing? Are you switching off, switching on something or what? He said, no, I am seeing my this phone. I wanted to see the calculator. 17. I said, don't do further. Go for medicine. It is not a question what is good. What you are good for, that is important. Similarly, when we are walking the spiritual path, don't get lost in this all general knowledge. Therefore, here the teacher says, Chidyante sarva samshayaha. That about which you do not have any doubt or any question, hold on to that. You will come to know you have no doubt, you have no question about your own being. Question and doubt is only about others. I will have question about him. Who are you? What is your name? Where from you have come? I don't have doubt and question about me. So whenever I will ask question, I will go away from myself. Going away from the self is the samsara. Abiding in the self is realization. See, friends, chidyante sarva samshayaha. There is no need. Then kshiyante asya karmani. All his karmas are dissolved. You know, those who are following this Vipassana, Buddhism, Jainism, Dharma Shastra, Yoga, they get lost in this dumb thing called as karma, karma, karma. See? And all the time they talk only about karma. Without knowing what karma is. Action plus a sense of doership is karma. Kshiyante cha asya karmani, meaning his doership disappears. See, friends. Like, you know, suppose you are observing, let us take Ekadashi. This actually, once it happened. From that I know this. When I was taking food, somebody's house, that is one of my professional requirement. I had to go and take food in people's house. So first they give me. After I survive, then other take. Like that. So when the food was given, half a dozen of them, ladies, they will be watching how I am eating. You can imagine, when you eat 10 people are watching you, how comfortable it is. So I took the chapati, took a dip in the dal, never got anything, sabji, everything, made a cocktail bite, and then instead of me eating, I opened my mouth, but my attention was on those ladies. One of the ladies' mouth opened little more than anybody. Identification. So I called, I said, Mama, please come. So she came. And then I said, before I eat, I give it to Bhagwan Krishna. Today you are Krishna for me. I gave it to her. She ate. Felt great among others. Do you know Swamiji called me, not you? And after that I finished my food. Then she came crying, Swamiji, now what will happen? I said, what happened? Today is Ekadashi. You gave me chapati, rice and everything. I am not supposed to eat food on Ekadashi. So what will happen? I said, nothing, you'll go to hell directly. Now be attentive. I have eaten food, there a doership is born. When the food goes inside the stomach, do we have the notion, I am digesting the food? No. There is a digestion or indigestion. The I is not involved. And therefore, if there is a constipation, it is not a sin. If the dysentery, it is not a merit. Think. Kshiyante jasya karmani, therefore means the sense of doership disappears in life. When the sense of doership disappears, you are neither successful nor a failure. Neither you achieve anything nor lose anything, nor you are happy nor you are miserable. Then life is lived without anybody living the life. See, this is the ultimate in spiritual life. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare. So if we abide in the truth, this is what happens. Therefore, let us practice this. So first practice is Vidyate hridaya granthi is freedom from body identification. Then Chidyante sarva samshayaha, no question about anything. Why? Because the sky is too high. One of the spiritual practice I suggest you try. Drop these two words from your vocabulary. Two words. One word is why. Second word is how. You will ask a counter question. But why? And then how? So our whole life is whiling away the life by howling at the life. There is no question. It is like that only. Be attentive. Have we ever asked a question, why the fire is hot? We accepted it. The fire is hot. And thereafter we decided how to deal with the fire. In the same manner, don't go and ask him question, but why my husband is so angry? You don't know, he is angry, yes. Then now you deal with him in such a manner that make a fool of him. Angry person can be fooled easily than a cool person. See, friends, it's very simple techniques. Instead of that, we become so serious. Under the disguise of spirituality, we suffer and make others suffer. Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshayaha kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. And he who has thus achieved this, he is called a Jivan Mukta, liberated while alive. Not a posthumous realization. You don't have to go to heaven to be happy. Attainment of happiness is not through the path of misery. The path is happiness, the goal is happiness. You are happiness. So here the teacher tells, Nrunam jnanaikanishthanam atma jnana vicharinam sa jivan mukta udeti videhon muktata evaya. Those who are jnanaikanishthanam, those who are firmly established in this inquiry of knowledge, jnana nishtha. Those who are karma nishtha, they will be all the time doing karma. Those who are japa nishtha, they will be all the time hanging the mala in the hand and Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, and keep on, struggling with that rosary. Those who are yoga nishtha, all the time sitting in the meditation and suffering silently. See, you must have seen, many yoga, meditation classes. They will be sitting, and after 2 minutes, they will be doing like this thing. And the questions come to Swamiji, why, in our class, when some people sit for meditation, they do like this thing. We don't know what is that meditation. That is a Jhatka meditation. Jerk. It is actually sleep, it is not meditation. But they will hold on to that. The Yoga Nishtha. Jnana Nishtha, those who are abiding in this understanding. The whole world begins when body identification happens. How simple it is. One small child asked me this question. Swamiji, when the world is created and where from the world begins? Innocently, she asked me the question. So I asked her, hey, who asked you to ask me this question? Mummy. Cute. I said, why don't you ask me question? Swamiji, I am afraid of you. I said, listen, the world begins the moment you are identified with the body. If you are not identified with the body, world doesn't exist. It exists for others. Who cares? Others say I got health. How does it matter for me? Others say I got lot of money. It makes no meaning to me. The world is remaining for others. It makes no difference to me. If it exists for me, then it is meaningful. The world begins from that moment when there is a body identification. Number one. Where from the world begins? The world begins from our own gross body. World begins from here. It is said in Yoga Shastra, what is in the Pinda is in the Brahmanda. We are a microcosm and the world is a macrocosm. The same thing. 5 great elements, 5 sense organs, 5 pranas, 5 organs of action. Everything is 5, 5, 5, 5. Therefore it is called as Pancha Prapancha, expansion of the 5. See, friends, in this manner, here the teacher talks about Nridam Jnanaikanishthanam, those people who are thus abiding in this understanding and wisdom. And Atmadhyana Vicharinam. Now they are not asking question about the world. They are asking question about their own self. And be attentive. When I open my eyes, I can see the world very easily because I got a vision. But when I want to see my own eyes with my own eyes, the vision disappears. In the same manner, when I want to know myself, the I disappears, only the knowledge remains. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to tell a story. There was a salt doll and she wanted to know how deep is the ocean. And she went and jumped into the ocean. Never came out. I once dissolved is never born. Therefore, in case of this knowledge, there is no word Jnana Bhrashta. There is a word Yoga Bhrashta, Karma Bhrashta. Bhrashta means fallen. We have fallen from the yoga. We have fallen from the karma. Knowledge is not repeated. It is only once. Therefore, Nridam, those people who are abiding on this path of inquiry knowledge, Atma Tattva Vicharinam, Sa Jivan Muktata Udeti. They are blessed with Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti is what? You are alive and yet you are dead to the world. Or the world is dead to you. Both ways. If you happen to see sometime, try this movie. Many people, they feel seeing a movie by a Swami is being not a Swami. I don't care for such fools. There is one movie, try and see the principle expounded so beautifully. The movie is RIPD, Rest in Peace Department. And that movie is so beautiful. All the cinema things are there. But what I have learned from that movie is this. There were 2 police officers. They went on a very tall building investigating some case. And they started arguing with each other. And one of the police officers shot dead the other police officer. And the other police officer fell down all the way from the top on the ground. When he fell on the ground, he died. But he got up. And everything around him was frozen. But he was alive. And he walked away. and he goes to the heavens. And he, being a good police officer, he is appointed as a investigation officer from the God's Department of Rest in Peace. And he is given a car, he moves around everywhere. He can see everything, but nobody can see him. He sees his wife. After some time she is crying and she gets married to somebody, and then he is always following her, because he can see her but she can't see him. And one day again something happens, huge accident takes place. In an accident his wife dies, and the car blasted in the sky. The police and the criminals are all spread over, and it is frozen. And this dead lady from the accident gets up. And then now they both can see each other. And they walk away in the heavens. Now the principle that is told is, when an accident happens, we never die. The world is dead to us. We continue to be. See, friends, wise man, Jivan Mukta Purush, they live in this world. But for them, this world is dead. And therefore, Dukkheshu Anudvignamanaha, Sukheshu Vigataspraha. Therefore, when the miseries come, they don't become miserable. When the comforts come, they are no more attached to the comforts. Because for them, this world is dead. And therefore, they are liberated from this world. Although they are living very much in this world. See, friends. This is called a Jivan Mukti. He who has thus known his essential nature, he alone can attain fulfillment in life. And this can happen only to Nrinam Jnanaikanishthanam Atmajnana Vicharinam Sa Jivan Muktata Udeti Videhon Muktata Evaya. And when you are liberated while alive, then naturally whether the body falls in a gutter or in a temple makes no difference. Because he has already discarded the body. He is no more living as the body, but he is now living through the body. Once I had a watch and I was in a very bad condition, so I had to sell my watch and go ahead. So my watch was sold to somebody, and the other person saw my watch in that person, and he was watching surprisingly, how come Swamiji's watch has come here? And when he was just seeing that watch, the watch fell down from the hand, and from there one motorcycle came and ran over that watch, and it was crushed. So this person came running to me. Swamiji, your watch you gave to that man? Yes. He fell it on the floor and a motorcycle ran over it. I said, never mind. Never mind, don't you feel bad? I said, no, I got the money for it. See? It has no value for me. In the same manner, the wise people have already discarded the body identification, and therefore there is nothing like achievement or failure for them. Then what for they live in this world, what for they work? For time pass. That's it. If you sincerely look within, without any biasness, you will come to my conclusion. See, in the morning, before meditation, I was ready, Pathakji was ready, we had a tea. Still there was time for the meditation class. Now what is to be done? Let's go for a walk. Was it for a walk? No, it was a time pass till the lecture begins. See, one day I was having a cup of tea, comfortably sitting. One person came. Swamiji, what are you doing? I said, I am waiting for death. Are we not all doing that? Even if we die right now, how does it matter? To us or to the whole world? Why we are living? Time pass. That's it. See, friends, Jivan Mukti is this Ananda. There is nothing to be achieved, nothing to be protected. This Jivan Muktata comes only by this path of inquiry and knowledge. Yata sthitam idam yasya vyavaharavato च astam gatam sthitam vyoma sa Jivan Mukta uchyate. So, yatha sthitam idam yasya vyavaharavatāh api, wherever he is, whatever he is doing, he will be doing his job perfectly well. But he will be like the space. Space supports the fire but doesn't get influenced by the fire. Space supports the waters but doesn't get wet because of the waters. Space supports the earth, but when the earth is moving in the space doesn't get tickling. Hey, come on, yeah, don't move too much. No. And when the winds are blowing, the space doesn't become dried up. In the same manner, this wise man, Jivan Mukta, conducting himself in this world beautifully, perfectly, and yet not getting influenced by anything, is the freedom of living. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnahat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.